Hey y'all, it's Joe, just Joe, and I'm here today to do what I'm going to call Furry Friend Friday. If you like this kind of video where people talk about their furry friends while they put on makeup, like, comment, and subscribe below. It was actually suggested to me by James. His YouTube channel is James TBLMUA. I will link his channel down below, and at the end of this video, it's basically the inside babies that I've taken in all have a story because they all have some kind of sickness or disability. And long story short, when we lived out in the country, a lot of animals were dropped off. I couldn't find it in my heart to adopt out the ones that needed extra help because I was concerned whoever I adopted them out to wouldn't get them to the vet or give them their medication. So at one point we ended up with 9 of our own. 3 have passed at very old ages recently, but we do have 6 left. 2 are outside and 4 are inside. And I'm going to talk about our youngest today, BooBoo. So let me get my palette and let me show you what I've got on my face. I used the Tatcha liquid silk canvas and the milk blurring primers. I used the Giorgio Armani in 3.5 concealer, NARS in the shade medium 1.2 foundation. My cream bronze is Tristique in Brazilian bronze, and my cream blush is Strawberry Drip by Fenty. I did go under my eyes with the Tatcha Moonlight Underlight and Eye Treatment. I used the Cover FX Bronze Palette in Sunkissed Bronze and their Blush Shallot and Pink Dahlia for the powder. I did go into Glazed Donut in the Ofra Nikki Tutorials Highlight Trio. I used a little bit of Laura Mercier right in between my eyes right here where I wear my glasses. I used Ofra's Makeup Fixer Setting Spray. Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas in medium. I used the Brow Blade in Brunette Betty for my eyebrows, and the Gimme Brow in shade 3 for my eyebrows. And of course, I used my Beauty Blender sponge. So today I'm going to go into the Venus XL2. I haven't played with this palette a whole lot, so I wanted to kind of revisit it. And this is the shades. A lot of rose and greens. I am trying something a little different. I have my mirror set right here, right below, and I'm going to see if y'all can see what I'm doing a little bit better that way. Let me get this hair back. That should be good enough. And let's get into it. So I'm not going to talk much about the Lime Crime palette or the brushes. I'm going to talk mostly about BooBoo, who is right now 7 years old, which blows my mind. it seems like yesterday I looked outside and there was this little gray kitten that was peeking around the little stairs, waiting for me to go inside and waiting for Mama Cat, who is one of our outside cats, to get away from the food bowl. So I was watching out the back door, and as soon as Mama Cat was done, he ran right up to that bowl and ate like he had not eaten in days. I was automatically in love with this little gray kitten, but we already had 8 cats. So I did want to make sure that he was healthy, and so I don't know how long it was. I want to say 2 weeks I sat beside the food bowl outside and just waited and waited, and eventually, I don't know if it was because I was waiting and being so still, or he saw me interacting with the outside cats we had at the time, but he finally came up to eat while I was outside. So I let that happen for probably, goodness, another week or two, just sitting and letting him eat and letting him adjust to the fact that I'm there. And I guess 2 weeks, I just hung my hand down from the chair right where the bowl was and scooped him up. I mean, I just scooped him and pretty much crushed him against my body, hoping that he wouldn't be able to claw or bite me my face. And got him into the master bath, where I had wet food, a litter box, all the essentials waiting. And as soon as I put him down, he kind of was shook up, but he ran over to the wet food. Like, he was, as soon as he knew that wet food was there, he didn't care he was in the bathroom, he didn't care I was there, he just went straight for the wet food. And he ate so hard and so quick that, I mean, it's sad to say, but there's such a desperation in him eating the food that I really thought he was going to get choked. So he was in our bathroom for a few days. I mean, it wasn't very long, but a few days before I got him into a cage and to the vet. Our vet does know, or did know, he knows we're in the city now and that we don't have a lot of strays that come up. But our vet at the time didn't know that we took in strays, got them fixed. If they were feral, we re-released them in the area that they were from, or if they were socialized, or we had socialized them, we found them homes. So some vets won't work on feral cats, which makes me very sad. But our vet, he was just an old country guy, and he would work on anything pretty much that needed help. So we were very fortunate to have him. He is our vet still to this day, and I don't know what I'll do when he retires. He's one of the best that I've ever seen. So initially, we didn't think anything was wrong. He did have very aggressive behavior with food. So I was very fortunate to have 2 cats at the time, Sunny and Annabelle. They are both passed now. Annabelle passed when she was 19. Sunny passed when he was 18. They lived a great, full life. But they were the most patient, loving cats. So I was able to put BooBoo a food bowl and let Sunny and Annabelle eat first and kind of show that he didn't have to cut, because he would literally reach out and cover their bowls because he was so afraid that there wouldn't be any left. And it was so sad, but of course he was eating good now because he's in our house. We were very lucky that he took well to the other cats. It was just aggressive food behavior. So little by little he got used to Sunny and Annabelle. I did have to sit with him though, because as little as BooBoo was, the vet thought that he was probably literally right at 5 to 6 weeks. He's so tiny. So as little as BooBoo was, I was still scared that when he would reach out, he might accidentally get Sunny or Annabelle in the face with his claws. And again, only time he was aggressive toward anybody. He was, and still is, a super sweet baby. So, gosh, the aggressive food behavior went on for 6 months, me sitting on the floor. And at the time, I'm disabled. I'm not really supposed to be sitting on floors. But we finally got past, if his bowl was put out just a little bit from the other, at the time, the other 6 cats' bowls, then he did okay because he couldn't reach them. But I didn't want him to have to eat separately. I wanted him to adjust. So we did pretty good with that for a while. And then I finally put all the bowls back into the bathroom where they had originally been. And we only had problems for a week or so of him adjusting to the cats have their bowls, and he has a bowl, and he's not going to go hungry. So it was probably, from beginning to end, probably a year-long process of him adjusting to how the food system works in the house, when he gets to eat, being able to slow down eating, not having to go at it like it's his last meal, because it's not going to be his last meal. But so it probably took a year of all that. All the cats really got very attached to Sunny. When Sunny passed, him and my next age up Kit Kat they had a really hard time with Sunny's passing, but we did get through that. He has been a sweet little angel. He has one bad habit of sucking on my hair. When I go to sleep, he gets on top of the recliner, and I wake up, and there's always a little, ball of little, I guess, ratted hair where he sucked on it. I've not been able to break him of that. Let's see, I think it was, so we didn't think we had any problems with BooBoo. We got the worms gone. We got all the typical stray cat situations taken care of. We overcame the aggressive food eating, and so we thought we were good. I think it was 2015, I believe, we discovered Annabelle had breast cancer. And she did get to live 2 more years. Like I said, she lived to 19. She had a great life. But one day, I was panicking because there was blood on my recliner. So I thought for sure something had happened with Annabelle's surgery. I checked her all over. She got so annoyed with me. It wasn't her. So then, as a pet parent, you literally have to go through every fur baby and check everything. Because they don't act like they're sick. They never, even Annabelle, when she had breast cancer, we found the lump. All she acted like was she was a little more tired than normal. It wasn't she didn't change. So if we hadn't found that lump, I don't know what we would have done. But so I finally found that BooBoo had, his paws were broke open. Just like if it's too cold or whatever, your animal's going outside and they're not moisturizing their paws, or their little paw pads will break open. But Tennessee is not known for being that cold, and they're inside cats. We are lucky to have central heat and air, so there shouldn't have been any kind of problem like that. So here we go, off to the vet. And while we're there, I'll let him know that he's been acting a little more aggressive toward Kit Kat. His paws are open. He's not sleeping like a cat. He's sleeping like 6 to 8 hours, which cats can sleep up to 20-ish hours. I mean, it's not, you shouldn't be afraid if your cat sleeps 20 hours unless it's out of their routine. So he ended up with a disease that I can't pronounce. I do apologize for that. And it makes his paw pads break open. And he gets urinary tract infections. And he's overactive and cannot sleep. So he started on rounds of medication, and he does very well with it. I'm very shocked that this little kitty that was so aggressive about food lets me pick him up, pull his head back just a tad, and put a pill in. Now he won't eat it with food. He's too smart for that. He will not do that. But, so, I said, 7 years later, we have a beautiful kitty cat that has to take medicine, unfortunately. But we're used to taking medications around here. And I'm so glad that we found him that day. He is always coming to me when he knows I don't feel good. Of course, I think animals always know that kind of stuff. He does get on his brother's nerves, Kit Kat, a lot, but Kit Kat's 8 and he's 7. So, just like any brothers that are that close to age are going to do that. Now, after he takes the medication, he does have a medication that kind of calms him down so he can sleep like a cat should sleep. He takes it at night, and that way Kit Kat can get some rest too, because BooBoo's not waking him up every 5 minutes. But that's the most, I mean, there's a lot of things with BooBoo. Even down to when we first found him, I would go like this, and he'd hide his little head, and I'd peek around, and he'd peek around and hide his little head. So I ended up calling him BooBoo, because it was like we were playing peekaboo. Which I know, that's silly, but that's the reason. I can't find my little cloth that I just had. Isn't that always the way? I do believe BooBoo has taken my favorite highlighter brush, which, I mean, that's just going to happen when you have cats. You can't avoid things getting on the ground and then playing with it. You just have to make sure they don't get a hold of anything scary. But, so I'm extremely happy. My husband, since, I'd say 2006. So, from 2002 to 2006, always said no more than 2 animals. Which, I was pretty sure there'd be more than 2 animals just because of who I am. But, he was pretty adamant about just 2 animals, and then people kept dropping off cats, and I kept having to save them. Now, we only had to save 2 dogs. One, unfortunately, we said we would adopt him. When we found him, the shelter said okay. It was a pit bull that was pregnant. They put him down without calling me, or her down, excuse me. So I was very upset about that. But that's a different story. And then there was a little bitty dog that had a rabies collar. It didn't have a tag of his home or anything, but he did have a rabies collar. So my vet happened to be the only one really out that way close. So I just said a little prayer that that rabies tag was from him. So I called the vet. They said it was their rabies tag. They called the owner, and the owner came to their house and got the little dog. So the two dogs that ended up at our house did make their way to a home, or the one made its way to a home. The other one unfortunately passed, which I don't want to talk about. So it's been a long journey since I started adopting in 2002. Me and my husband got married in 2006, and at one time in the country, I think we had 50-something cats with all the neighbor kittens and the cats that were dropped off, but we got 32 cats fixed, I believe, within that we could catch. I mean, some were feral. I mean, not all of them were we able to get a hold of, but we fixed the ones that we could and found homes for the ones that we could. Even if some of the ferals that we did catch, we would find good farm homes where not only did the farmers want them to catch mice, but they would also leave food in case the animal didn't catch anything that day, which is amazing because I knew these farmers, so that worked out. But, so yeah, we've had a crazy journey with rescues, and that's the story about BooBoo, who is our youngest, and I love him dearly. I'm going to go ahead and finish up what I'm doing here with some mascara and some lips. I'm going to put this, it's called Overdrive. It's like like a fir tree green, if that makes sense. It's hard for me to talk when I do this. I've got a tad bit of eczema right there. I don't know if you can tell. I have had some issues with that this year. Usually I only get those dry patches every now and then, maybe twice a year, but for some reason this year it's been a little tougher. And today, Bobo just loves his mom and dad and has a great life. I always feel very blessed to be able to be a part of these fur babies' life. I just don't know how anybody could not want an animal in their life. I do understand with people's allergies, but even then, I mean, my husband's slightly allergic, and he couldn't give up his babies if he wanted to. He just, even no matter how sick, he don't get very sick from it. He's just allergic a little bit, but obviously sometimes it's worse than usual. And he just grins and bears it because he loves the babies. We are probably going to have to run to town, so I am putting on the Milk Kush mascara in waterproof, which is a mascara that I love. And I am just going to do my lips I'm going to do my lip liner in, this is Kylie, and it's the color Autumn. Let me get this off my fingers first. I don't know what I did with my other cloth, but I had this one too, so who knows what I've done. I'm just I'm not gonna overline, but I am gonna kind of contour. I don't know if you can tell, there's an X there, and then I'm just gonna fill in the outer edges. And then I'm gonna go into this Clarins. It is Rouge Eclat Rose Praline, number 26. And that's the shade of that. It's just a tad lighter than the lip liner. And I hope you enjoyed the story. Please leave a comment down below if you'd like to know about my other fur babies. I don't want to continue with the series, obviously, if it's not something you enjoy. This platform is for you guys. And I guess that's it. Y'all have an amazing day. Please make good decisions. Stay safe. And I love you guys. Hugs from Tennessee. Bye.